Ladies and gentlemen, I am back now for the big panel of the day, which is, of course, to present the EPP's Manifesto here at the 2024 Congress. Before we get into the details of what it contains with the individuals who helped to lead the craftsmanship of this crucial document, let's have a quick look at what EU citizens say they want to hear.
The EPP's manifesto reflects our strength, unity, and resolve. Driven by the people of Europe, representing diverse perspectives, through a dedicated online platform for unfiltered input, shaped by our member parties after extensive discussion and negotiation. We are proud of our manifesto. It is the product of inclusivity, fairness, and transparency, and it reflects our principles and values. We have followed the EPP way. Now let us hear directly from some of the voices that shaped our manifesto and speak for our shared vision of Europe.
Je suis agriculteur de troisième génération en Belgique et je m'en fais pour la planète, pour l'environnement bien sûr, mais aussi pour les consommateurs, pour la charge financière qu'ils ont à payer. Et puis je m'en fais pour mon existence, pour mon travail et aussi pour l'avenir de mon entreprise. Et je voulais savoir ce que le PPE pouvait faire pour moi.
Sé que Europa desempeñó un papel importante durante la pandemia con respecto a las vacunaciones. Sé que Europa, tras la pandemia, pidió prestado mucho dinero para ayudar a todos los países y estoy agradecido por ello. Pero, ¿y ahora qué?
Ja, also die Welt hat sich ja in den letzten 5 Jahren sehr verändert. Ja, sie ist viel beängstigender geworden und ja, ehrlich gesagt, wenn ich so auf der Straße spazieren gehe, möchte ich mich eigentlich sicher fühlen. Zu Hause möchte ich mich sicher fühlen. Ja, mein Land soll sicher sein. Und angesichts der 2 Kriege, die gerade toben, sehe ich das aber nicht. Was kann die EVP dafür tun?
Εργάζομαι ως υπάλληλος σε μια ασφαλιστική εταιρεία και μεγαλώνω μόνη μου το γιο μου που είναι 6 ετών. Αυτό που ζητώ είναι εργασιακή ασφάλεια. Θέλω να ζω με αξιοπρεπή μισθό και να μπορώ να δώσω στο παιδί μου όσα εφόδια χρειάζεται για ένα καλύτερο μέλλον. Τι μπορεί να κάνει το Ευρωπαϊκό Λαϊκό Κόμμα για εμένα?
Lansko leto sem razvil aplikacijo, ki mladim podjetnikom omogoča lažje financiranje za njihova podjetja. Želim si uspeti, rad bi živel tukaj v Ljubljani, ne bi se pa rad preselil v Kalifornijo. Kaj bo pa EPP storila zame?
So those are just some of the voices of the types of people who are going to be going to the polls in June at those crucial European parliamentary elections. And let's invite upon the stage to discuss the manifesto the president of the EPP, Manfred Weber, will join me on stage with a microphone. Great, wonderful. Thank you very much, President Weber.
Good to see you.
Thank you. We heard there from some of the citizens and their sort of immediate priorities, and we've talked about it right throughout the course of the day in various panels. How crucial do you think this manifesto, procedure of crafting the manifesto in a sort of collaborative form was for you?
Well, I think that manifesto is probably one of the most important decisions for the Congress. We define the roadmap for the next 5 years for the future of Europe. We are strong, we have a lot of trust, and that's why content, so what do we want to do for the next 5 years, is key for us as party and for the family. I take it extremely serious as party leader that our content is really important and it gives us an orientation for the next 5 years. And what I'm proud about as party leader is that we did this time in an extremely inclusive process. So more than 300 ideas were presented. We asked all our associations, all our member parties, the groups in parliament, in Committee of Regions, in the different fields. So our whole EPP universe, in a way, we asked everybody to contribute, and that really brought up a lot of good ideas. I'm really grateful for this cooperation, for this contribution, that everybody thought about the next year's program, and this is now the final outcome. I'm proud about this.
We heard throughout the course of some of the panels earlier on today about how important it was, as you were saying, to have sort of concrete evidence that policies are working and how policies can affect people. Just talk about your approach. Sometimes you describe it, I believe, as a programmatic approach to policy drafting.
Yes, one aspect is again the drafting of this manifesto. There again, ideas are key, and we have a lot of talents, we have a lot of people who think for the future of Europe and contribute to this. And I have also to say that I'm happy that finally we are then sitting together and are also capable to find a compromise, because one aspect is to have a clear position, but another aspect in a family is also to compromise, to come together finally. And both sides are there, and that's why thank you for the process. The more important thing is what we saw a minute ago, because our political approach starts with listening. And if I may say so, we have in the political arena a lot of politicians who are not starting with listening first, who are first of all starting with lecturing. They are speaking. Again, our EPP approach of developing politics is listening, because the concerns of citizens must be in the center of the debate, and that's why all the ideas are based exactly on what citizens tell us.
So we heard some of the priorities of the citizens there. How do they match with the EPP's priorities? What are your sort of priorities in this manifesto, if you had to sum them up really quickly?
Well, the starting point of content-wise is for sure the question of credibility of trust. Because when you go to the votes, when you go to the ballot boxes, then people assess also what have you done in the past. And EPP was with Ursula von der Leyen, with Roberta Metsola, with me in the group, in the parliament. We were already responsible. So the first thing is that we can tell people Europe was in good hands in Corona times, in war times. We did our job. That is, I think, the base for the most important thing what politicians can get, and that is trust from the citizens. And the second step is then to propose the ideas for the future, and that brings us to the content then. And there I would see two main pillars was already discussed. We listened already to the leaders today. I think we all share the same opinion that two challenges are in front of us. One is to keep the promise of peace, at least inside of the European Union. We have war in Ukraine, but at least inside of the European Union we want to keep peace. And the second key promise is to keep prosperity, so economic perspective for our citizens. That are the two main pillars of our programmatic approach. And frankly speaking, I'm sure that a lot of Europeans in all countries of Europe, they trust finally that EPP can manage these two things, because they're especially on security, on defense, on peace, and on prosperity, on economic growth, we are good in this, and we have the trust.
And so you're saying your driving values uniquely position you for this type of age that Europe finds itself in?
Well, when you speak about values, yes, that is in a way one is the content, but the overwhelming, the umbrella above everything is then what do we believe in? And there, you know, the European way of life, it was, this title of European way of life was in a way created, was branded by the European People's Party 5 years ago. In the formation of the Commission, it was heavily attacked by the left. So it defines in a way what is the value base for Europe, what we share. And probably next to the basic principles of our values, one aspect is also that we do all these challenges in a method of bridge building. That's also part of our DNA. I also will talk about this tomorrow to define what makes EPP, what is the EPP DNA finally. And for me, bridge building, to bring things together, economic success and environmental responsibility, the social market economy, to bring things together is typically for our EPP approach. We don't want to split, we want to unify. That is our way of doing things.
And fair to say no room for empty slogans, then it sounds like you're saying no room for empty slogans.
Yes, that's correct. When we see the programmatic approach of our competitors, I would say that there is a lot of slogans. When you see our approach, and I was already asked by journalists who are observing us, who are commenting today what we are doing here, so in a public atmosphere, everybody read the EPP manifesto. Everybody is aware about what we do on the content. For example, on migration, which is obviously one of the key points from the expectation of citizens. Please solve it now. Please stop illegal migration to Europe. And so everybody takes our concrete programmatic approach serious, and I'm happy about this. It's not about empty messages, it's about real content.
EPP President Manfred Weber, thank you very much for joining us on stage here to present that.
Thank you so much.
And I know you will be back to share the closing remarks and the voting on it. Thank you.